Riding my motorcycle at 70 miles an hour is where I meditate. You feel the sun or the rain or the wind, you're one with the world in an incredibly sort of naked way. You're vulnerable. You're on a moving object. So it's like everything becomes crystal clear at that point. There's just you and that moment.
I loved getting to hear the stories of these women and how biking has really changed their life in so many different ways. Whether it's feeling like they're close to a parent who has passed, or feeling freedom and independence on the road and not needing to rely on anybody else, connecting with nature, connecting with other women, and creating this community and camaraderie of women who all have a common interest, and how powerful that can be, especially when you are in a very male-dominated activity or lifestyle that you might not be so warmly embraced into. And there's a lot of negative opinions and stereotypes and limitations that are placed on women unfairly. And so just getting to see these badass, strong women find so much joy and peace and pride in what they do is really beautiful to watch. And there was one woman who said, I hope that there are more women out there who are inspired by other women, not women who are inspired by men to join this type of lifestyle. So I just absolutely loved it. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy, and I'm so glad that these women exist and that these communities exist around, because anything that uplifts women, creates community, creates strength and bonding and independence, I'm all for.
Woman in the Front Seat was definitely a very empowering tale of female motorcycle riders. For one, it's always interesting to learn something new and just seeing the life of motorcycle riders, because I've only ever been on a motorcycle when my grandfather used to ride them, but I myself have never ridden one. And it's one of those vehicles that takes a lot of courage to ride, because, as they said in the documentary, one of the biggest things about riding a motorcycle is you have to be very vulnerable, but you also have to accept that vulnerability, that if you were to crash, you can get seriously hurt. And that acceptance takes a lot of courage. But additionally, in riding motorcycles, a lot of patriarchal values are challenged, because riding motorcycle is societally seen as something very tough, very masculine. And for a woman to ride a motorcycle challenges that notion. So there was a very empowering tone where the message was very much to embrace what you want to do and don't let anyone dictate what you should and shouldn't do.
I thought that the film covered the sense of community and camaraderie between female motorcycle riders well. I think it also gave us a lot of different perspectives on what makes these women passionate about riding, and the sense of adventure that it gives them, and the different ways in which it has helped them to become the people that they really want to be, as well as heal from different things and face fears. And I think that all of that is incredibly positive to see, even though there obviously is danger involved with riding as well. I think the thing that stuck out to me the most, though, was the way that it presented the idea of being a female motorcycle or femme motorcycle rider as being something, like one of the participants said, that isn't accomplishing any more than anybody else on a bike, but is seen by the world in a way that is influential and can be inspiring to other people.
I loved the overall story, and I loved all the individual stories of all the women, all the diverse women that were in this and told their stories. They were great for sharing their stories, actually. I could relate to all these courageous women in my own way. It was great that they all shared their fear, and to see them face their fears and push through their fears was very inspiring, very inspiring. And there was a lot of information. It was very informative, and a lot of inspiring words from these women themselves. Just wow. This will hopefully help to break some stereotypes of women. I didn't really feel like this was about feminism. I thought this was about breaking stereotypes.
I thought it was a great way to show women supporting women and women kind of breaking barriers, and it was a great way to tell so many different stories, all while kind of feeding the same things of women supporting each other, doing things they were told they couldn't do, or society doesn't assume they can do. um, I thought it was a really great way to tell the story, because you kind of start with this, I don't want to say main story, but this concept of this woman doing her very first kind of cross country solo trip, and then you get all of these different other stories and points of view, and why these people are writing, as she's kind of making her progress and meeting these different people, which I thought was fantastic. Um, I thought overall it was a really great way to tell a story.
It was interesting to see and learn a little bit about bikes and what people do to gear them and the cause and everything. It was really just one that you could sit back and just let it soak in and just kind of enjoy it. It was all really pieced together really well. Again, I just found it was just interesting to hear all these different stories, different takes on the one central sort of hobby, if you will.
It was a really interesting look at cycling and the culture around it and the different types of bikes and just the sort of challenges and joy that comes from it. And I thought it was really cool to hear all of the women's different experiences and stories.
So this is a film not just for women who enjoy riding motorcycles, but anybody who is interested in motorcycles and has an interest in their fellowship, the fellowship of the road. And I recommend it for not just gearheads, but for anybody who appreciates the detail and concern people have for interesting hobbies.